Azurlane Baltimore, the ship, is in the store right now for 15 bucks, and that is a steal for a premium version of one of the OG greats at tier 7. In my opinion, this is a very good noob-friendly ship. She's well armored, has an easy gun layout, and has radar. Truly a beginner-friendly ship, and I would recommend her for players looking for a credit grinder at tier 7. For those curious, here are the differences between this premium version and the tech tree version of the Baltimore. Most notably, a 1 second faster reload. Otherwise, they are very similar here. Now, I wouldn't say that this version is better than the original Baltimore. I really like how OG Balti hits, even more than the Celtic, however you want to pronounce it. OG Balti is still my favorite variant, you know, aside from all of these other ships that are similar and came out, even the Wichitas, but this version does have the ability to get 3 salvos off pretty easily with 1 radar, and that is a big selling point, that 11-second reload. Here is how I would set mine up. Aiming systems to help the grouping a little bit because I feel like it is wonky. Norman Scott does help it, and we're going to get there. I would definitely use prop because you're going to be playing around islands, concealment to keep you safe, and then main battery reload to improve your reload. If I were free to play, I would rock a standard Norman Scott build. Consider buffing your concealment with Makawa and then maybe Muller for speed because this is a slow cruiser. If you are really a damage fiend and you want to push your damage output up a little bit, Mimbelli is a great option as well. I am a little short on time this update, so apologies. I will eventually try to get back to doing the double features. I really liked that. I feel like it helped players have more opportunities to learn where to go and what to do and what not to do, because I can show you that plenty. And we're going to die early in this one as well. A little foreshadowing there, but yeah, so I do apologize. This update, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break from the game, so I may be slow to respond on all platforms, so apologies in advance. All right, this Baltimore, it is definitely going to earn more silver than the OG Baltimore. Even though I like the OG better, that's a reason to play this one because it prints silver. Tier 7 is the best tier to grind silver, of course, because premium ships get I believe it's a 55% boost to silver earning, on top of having a relatively low service cost. So yeah, you get good at this ship and you will rake in the silver. The match before this, we earned, I think, 900 and something thousand silver, and it wasn't even that good of a game. Unfortunately, my PC decided to potato, so we lost that recording, sadly. Anyways, luckily it kept the recording of the game before that, where we were stuck in a 6v6 match, but, you know, let's not get frustrated here. So you have your shiny new credit grinder here, and you're kind of a new player. How do you play it? Islands are going to be your absolute best friend. Now you have decent armor, but anything like that Savetsky Rossiya over there that has 16-inch guns can overmatch your armor, so you need to be very careful about what battleships you choose to square up against. There's a Friesland in that smokescreen right there, but I'm kind of worried about stopping the push of these battleships. Still though, we'll move up, see if we can deal some damage to the Friesland. You can kind of see what I mean by this shell grouping. If you are using Shelly Beepley, which we are in this game, she has some cool advantages, but let me tell you, she also has downsides, and not using the accuracy perks that you would get for Norman Scott, it does hurt, especially when you're shooting at destroyers. So yes, if you have a DD in your 9-kilometer radar range, you can get 3 salvos, but if you're only hitting 1 or 2 shells each salvo, it's not going to hurt the destroyer that much. So that is a reason to still use Norman Scott. I know a lot of players like to say, quit showing us premium commanders, you know, I'm free to play. To that, my response is, you know, respectively, I've spent thousands on this game. If I want to use a premium commander, I'm going to use a premium commander, okay? But I do always try to show free to play builds so everyone can, you know, participate. Yeah, I like it both ways. Anyways, Friesland got away. We only hit him with a couple shells. Our Loyang picked up the controller, so that is good. If he had been up in the cap a little bit earlier, I think it would have stopped the battleship's pushes. But we're going to be in a pickle because as soon as that, whatever, that pan-European battleship over there gets out to the flank, we're no longer safe right here. So we do need to be a little bit closer, probably watching out for the Friesland, but I know that the Carl Johan is going to be pushing around the flank, and I want to do everything I can to try to keep our Giuseppe Verdi alive. He seems like a pretty good player. If you watch him during this sequence here, he does great, and honestly, his support here, or me supporting him rather, because if you're in a Baltimore, you are a support ship, but us together, working together, honestly, we kind of save this flank until we don't, and you'll see exactly when we don't. But yeah, so there it is. There's the Carl Johan. So we're going to try to use, honestly, we're using HE because I'm trying to knock some of his torpedo launchers. Again, I thought our Giuseppe Verdi was going to be a little closer to him, but he's sailing away. Again, he plays this very well. But let's go ahead and load the AP. We did get a torp launcher there. I don't know if he's going to reload it, but if he does, he is in danger of taking a bunch of Loyang torpedoes in a perm flood. So the AP and the HE, they're both good on this ship. You really want to shoot the AP at broadsides. But again, situations like this where you're thinking of trying to knock torpedoes or break AA or break secondary guns, the HE is beefy and it can deal a good amount of damage and destroy stuff. Carl took a couple torpedoes there. I know he damaged Cond now, so we are definitely going back to the HE to try to follow up with a perm flood. As you can see, the ship doesn't deal a ton of damage. That's not really its role. You know, it's not going to just waylay anything unless you're shooting AP at broadside cruisers that just aren't paying attention. But at medium to longer ranges, it's just going to be a slow roll when it comes to dealing your damage. And that's okay. You're not supposed to be a damage monster. You're a support ship. You're supposed to keep the destroyers at bay and do everything you can to support your destroyers and your battleships. Carl is not using Fight Fire with Fire, it would appear, so the triple fire is going to help make sure that he dies. And we're still in a rough position though, because there is a Friesland over here spotting us, and then of course the Sovietsky Rossiya is a very dangerous battleship for Baltimore because it can punch right through the armor. I was so tunnel visioned on that Carl Johan, I had no idea that there was a Plymouth in the middle of the map. How did he get here? I don't know, but he's focused on our battleship, so we're going to try to get some saucy AP salvos on him. Let's look at the accuracy here. Not very good. So once again, I think there's a case for using Norman Scott or a commander that is going to clean up your grouping a little bit, because man, a broadside Plymouth at this close and only pulling one Citadel, I think we actually get one more here with a cheeky little blind fire. I'm trying to wait to see if he'll turn back to the left, and we don't get the opportunity. Plymouth is a pretty stealthy little cruiser, but I think we maybe get one more Citadel. But still, you have to be careful with the accuracy, and I would definitely use aiming systems. The bad thing about Norman Scott though, and I will warn you, he doesn't have Ingenious in slot 1, and the turret traverse is slow on these American heavy cruisers. So that is one bad thing. You can use turret mod in slot 1, but then maybe your accuracy will suffer. Who knows? You just might play with it and see what works best for you. If you find yourself frustrated with the grouping and the salvos, as sometimes I do when I play Shelly Beepley, ask my friends, I complain about it all the time. I know Beepley is, you know, the Chad commander, but the grouping, you know, I stand by it. I will die on this hill. The grouping with her is just worse. Anyways though, we have a Friesland over there in the smoke. We are getting triple capped. I mean, we're kind of getting stomped here. And there is a battleship there that I have no answer for, besides ramming or besides trying to do a drive-by. But Rossiya is a battleship that has the most insane turret traverse, so it's probably not going to work. So what we are going to try to do is see if we can kill the Friesland. Unfortunately, the Plymouth is also coming back into the picture here, and that first salvo was a complete whiff against the Friesland. So we're going to try again here. He's very low health. All we need to do is connect like 4 shells maybe, and he's dead. Okay, maybe 5 shells? That was 4. But let's try to connect a little bit more there. He did damage con that fire, and I think we set another one here. Yeah, so he would die, but Giuseppe Verdi went ahead and killed him, and that's fine. I'm glad he's off the board. So we have the Plymouth again, which is super dangerous up close, and we have the Rossiya. And our play, with Giuseppe dead, our play is really just ramming the Rasia. Yeah, we're going to see what develops here. Sometimes around these island situations, if you can get on their broadside at this close of range, you would absolutely Citadel the Rasia, because it has a raised Citadel, and yeet it. But again, the turret traverse is so fast on that ship, and this player is protecting his broadside. He knows what he's doing, so we'll get a little bit of damage on his nose, and you can see we were angled trying to have the Rasia shoot into our belt armor. Let's try a turret face. Nothing. So yeah, we're in a pickle here. We're in a pickle, but I see a play developing. Let's shoot Plymouth. Let's ram Rasia. So let's move our guns over here to Plymouth. Fire. And before we get the ram off, the rear turret of Justice gets us. And that was well played by that guy, Eternal Abyss. GG's. Now, I don't know what the heck happened on the other side of the map, but all of a sudden it is 4v1. So whatever we did on our side, I think it was fine. Even though we're getting triple capped all game, our 4 teammates are hopefully going to be able to bring it back. And I'm actually going to let this one run a little bit in the background. The other things I really, really like about the Baltimore cruisers, if you can get past their slow speed, they're pretty maneuverable. Decent turning circle and a fast rudder shift time of 7 seconds stock. So they're average to above average in their maneuverability. And again, I like the tight turning circle. It's the reason that I would take an American heavy cruiser over a Soviet heavy cruiser. Like, I'll play the Baltimore over the Riga any day. It's just the massive turning circles. I don't know. It doesn't vibe with my playstyle. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. So yeah, Baltimore's all day. And there's just no glaring weaknesses of the ship aside from the slow speed. Yeah, it's just a good all-around cruiser. I would absolutely recommend it to newer players. Now, last time I recommended a cruiser to new players, it was the Piotr Bagration, which is one of the most slept-on premium cruisers at the tier. I stand by it. I think it is solid. It is super good. But a lot of players said, don't recommend cruisers to new players because cruisers are hard to play. Are they? Sit behind an island. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they're that hard to play, and there's only one way you're going to get better at them. If you want to be a cruiser player, you have to play cruisers. Don't just hide behind battleships because you're not going to get any better at the game. You should really play all of the classes and slowly understand how each of them works, and that is going to make you a better all-around player. But I do think this is a pretty easy ship to play if you don't find yourself in open water. If you have a destroyer on your flank that's actually playing and can support you from battleship rushes, yeah, it's not a hard ship to play. Another high point of the Azerlane Baltimore is AA. The DPS is 365. That is pretty saucy. I think it's tied for 3rd place after the D7P and the Rochester. So that's nice when you have a lot of carriers in the game. You can do a pretty decent amount of AA damage. Well, it looks like my teammates have found the last player. They are flipping BCAP. That is great. So it looks like, I don't know if this player, the Rasia player, if he had ran and maybe did a reset on BCAP and then a reset on ACAP, if he could have won this, because they had a huge points advantage. I'm not sure. You would have to add it all up. But he came back to fight, and our Azuma probably should turn left a little bit to show his belt more. Because, yeah, that's what's going to happen. But I do think our Angelo here is going to take him down. If you guys didn't check out the Angelo video that we posted the other day, I thought the ship was going to be literally the worst ship that was ever introduced to the game. And honestly, super fun. Super, super fun. The SAP is just a blast. It's like Schroeder, except Italian, and then you have the SAP. Super fun. I would recommend it. Check the video out. Anyways, that's going to wrap this one up. If you're a new player looking for a credit grinder, this is an easy ship to play, and 15 bucks is a bargain considering they're normally $70. This is Sturka signing off. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Catch you in the next one. Bye.